Hello, and welcome to today's rather late episode of Saddest Night Out. My name is Roy, and I am the host of this daily podcast, and it's primarily about music and creative culture in London. It's been a bit of a weird day. I turned 30 in just over 2 hours, and it's been the type of day where you don't really respond to any messages on your phone, etc. You just unplug from everything a little bit. But I did record an episode yesterday that I've been meaning to put up today, and now at the ripe time of 9:45 p.m. seems like the perfect time to record the intro and outro. But before I do anything regarding today's episode, I would be remiss if I didn't give a massive shout out and thank you and virtual hug to Tim, aka Cement Ship. He of episode 172. He has played at my open mics, I think, 1, 2, 3 times, maybe once last year and twice around the time of episode 172. And he's only gone and made a video compilation of the introductions that I've given him at my open mics and posted it on Facebook with a very touching message as well. Thank you very much for that, Tim. I bet you had no idea that it's my birthday tomorrow, but what you posted ended up being a rather nice birthday gift, so thank you very much. If you search for Cement Ship on either Instagram or Facebook, you can see what I'm talking about. So thank you from the bottom of my heart, Tim. That was a very sweet thing for you to do. In other news, I have a show coming up Tuesday the 30th of July, which is 7 days from now and counting. I am determined to put in more preparation for this one than last one, and so on and so forth. Hopefully it'll be a good time. Road Trip and the Workshop, Tuesday 30th of July from 7:30. I would love to see you there. Today's episode features 2 more newcomers to the podcast who happen to be members of the UK Open Mic family, in that they are both fellow hosts. They've both come to London for various reasons. They both make their own music, and they both crossed paths with me at some point, and that's what led them down the dark and winding path of becoming a UK open mic host. And those 2 guests are George and Ant. George can be found online, particularly on Instagram, at Burn the Ladder, all as one word, BURNTHELADDER, and Ant can be found at inst_ant art. It's a bit of a play on the term instant art, so that's at INST_ANTART. We were at Banh Brothers restaurant, which is a very cool restaurant in a very cool area of London. It's on Leek Street, which is about a 5-minute walk from Waterloo Station, and then 11-minute walk from Westminster Station, according to Google Maps. It's underneath the train track, so it's in this tunnel that is covered in graffiti, and when you walk into the restaurant there's trees and cool lighting everywhere. It's a really hip spot. This was our second open mic at that venue. We had over 20 people sign up to perform. George was hosting, and Ant and I were both there to support. So before the night went underway, George and myself had a quick meal together, then Ant joined us and we recorded this chat. So this is them introducing themselves to the many, many listeners I have on this podcast. I hope you enjoy this chat, and I'll catch up with you a bit more afterwards. And we are live from Banh Brothers restaurant. It's my first time having a meal here, and I'm with 2 very good friends who also happen to be fellow hosts of UK Open Mic. Will you kindly introduce yourselves? I'll start with the gentleman on my right.
Hi, I'm Ant, not to be confused with Ant Hansen. I'm Ant Arts. I'm the younger one, and I host the Anise Bar on Fridays.
Fantastic.
And my name is George. I am older than Ant by a worrying amount, and I host the ones here. And there's trees around and everything. It's cool.
There's trees, there's lights, there's crazy graffiti outside. You've got the hippest, coolest open mic spot by far.
I mean, all the graffiti, I'm slightly intimidated.
Yeah. I feel like I'm not cool enough to be here, and they'll smell it on me like, you don't belong here. Move along, buddy. Hasn't happened yet so far. So, George, let's start with you. This is your first time hosting at this venue.
Yes.
How did you come to start hosting open mic nights?
You know this story very well.
You know this story.
Nice play for the audience there. I turned up in London, decided to find some open mics, found these guys online, and then just started talking to Roy because he was trying to sound tech himself, and I could see the difficulties.
So, like the hero you are, You came up to me, looked me in the eyes and said, "Hey Roy, do you want me to do the sound tech for you while you play?" And I was touched because no one else had done that before. And then you told me you'd done open mic nights before. Is that right?
I had. It was very distracting at that point because of all the tears. But
It's true. True.
yeah, I came from Somerset and I used to host open mics just occasionally down there. Much quieter. On a good night, you'd get 5 people turning up.
Whoa.
I have performed and been the only performer several times, so it's a bit of a change. I think we've got 20-something coming today.
It's a pretty high number. But we're fine. We're not worried. We're not nervous at all. We've got this. George is a vision of confidence right now.
As much as I already am. Ignore the shaking.
Speaking of having so many people on one open mic, I do believe, Ants, you had something similar not too long ago. How did that go for you?
Yeah, that was a ride. I messed up a couple of things. Messed up the numbers of people performing, messed up some names, all of that. Not something you want to do when you have so many performers. I think it was 26. Luckily, not everyone showed up. But then, yeah, it felt kind of bad to cut everyone's sets halfway. At the halfway mark, like we were through 13 artists maybe, and then already I had to cut, which didn't go down so well, to put it lightly. But hey, we managed.
Outside of open mic nights, what kind of performing? What do you do with music outside of open mic nights?
So I am studying right now. I'm doing a master's in songwriting. So pretty much all I do is music, day in day out. And then open mics are just an ideal place to kind of try new songs out. Might do that tonight as well.
You played a new one when you came to my Thursday. Michael's not me. I'm very professional at this whole podcasting thing. You played a new one when you came to my Thursday night open mic. I don't know if it was last week or the week before.
Oh, yeah, 2 weeks ago at the Nelsons.
I think it was very new, like you only very recently
Yes, that was that was a day old. That one I completely finished now, so that's done. Finished another one since then, and that sounds like, hey, he's writing a lot of songs, but it took me like 4 months to write these 2. And I only have 4 weeks left to write 4 more, so it's going to be very, very interesting reaching that master's deadline. But yeah, we'll see. I'm fine.
I believe in you.
I'm out here, so that means I'm kind of confident, right?
Exactly. You're not at home like, come on, home, what am I going to do?
No, I was doing that this morning.
So how long have you been in London?
7 months now, since September, I think. Is that 7? More or less.
Roughly.
Yeah.
Maybe slightly more.
Yeah, when my course started, I moved here, and I just moved to Kentish Town, so I hope to stay here as long as finances are stable.
Yeah, that's London all right. We'll see how long the money lasts, whether I stay or not. Where did you come here from, though? He said, about to take a sip of his drink.
Sorry. So I hail from Belgium. I swam across the pond, and
were you making music back there as well?
I was, yeah. I had a band. I studied music and vocals there as well. But Belgium is just a really boring and small place. And if you don't know the exact right people, you'll never get anywhere. So I figured I'd have a better shot in London, and there's just more things to do here. It's livelier, it's more fun, it's more exciting. High risk, high reward.
With a bad crowd here, I tell you. You want to watch out for yourself.
Yeah, we'll see. Now at least I have more of a network than I ever had in Belgium.
Yeah.
So that's good. That's a nice start.
George, is there something similar to that for you? I got there in the end. Have you found London a bit more happening than sleepy Somerset?
Yes. It's a very different kettle of fish. Is that the expression? I get expressions wrong a lot. I was in such a small town. I was in a place called Taunton, which isn't even a city. But it was strange because there weren't very many venues. There were very few number, but because it's such a small pond, I knew everyone and could get paid work when I wanted. So it's the exact inverse of coming to London, where there's loads of places to play, but you won't get paid ever.
What an awkward situation to find yourself in.
Right. It's like, do things and have money. No, not have money, or don't do things and have it. It's like, what do I spend this on? I was tempted to take up some sort of destructive habit just to have something to do.
We'll try and stop it before it gets to that, but we'll see how lucky you are. So, you have got some music that's out there in the ether of the internet.
Yes.
Is that music you made since London or from back home?
Well, home's weird because I'm actually from London, but I left when I went to uni. I've got a project called Burn the Ladder.
Yep.
That is Burn the Ladder because it's noisy and, advertising. And I've got one EP out. I'm releasing another one soon, and I'm setting up a schedule where on the first Monday of the month I'll be releasing an original song, and on the third Monday of the month I'll be doing a cover on YouTube. And the idea is that I'll cover it and then talk a bit about the song, why I like it, what I found hard, what's good about it, and see how that sort of goes. So I've got plans to do a lot of music things over the next few months.
That sounds interesting. So where can people follow that online?
I'm on all of the internets except for Twitter because, goddamn, I hate Twitter. It's Burn the Ladder. If you just Google that, I chose that name because if you Google it, you don't get anything. So I'm like, it's
No Rule 34.
No.
not yet.
Do not Google Rule 34, listeners. Don't listen. Ignore Ant,
Some
okay?
very intense fans.
Once again, do not search for Rule 34. So, if you search for Burn the Ladder, which is what you should be searching for, we will inevitably find you.
Yes.
Fantastic. We'll keep an eye out for that new EP, and when it comes out, feel free to come back to your old pal Roy here. We'll get another episode.
It's going to be called NIMBYs, which stands for Not in My Backyard, which is an attitude, unfortunately, we've grown all too familiar with in recent years, and so it'll be good one.
To be continued. Thank you very much, George. And what about yourself, Ant? Are you out there on the internet anywhere? Not Rule 34.
Well, no. I have an Instagram right now. That's something. I have a YouTube somewhere hidden away, but it's full of junk, so I need to clean that up. No, I don't. What?
When you say junk?
Yeah, well, no, it's music and it's things that I tried out, but it's not out.
When was the last time you put something up on there? That long ago, huh?
Well, let's say 5 months. I think I posted something when I moved to London, and that's pretty much been it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So it's due a revamp.
Yeah, absolutely. So I am working on, or I should be working on an EP right now. And the challenge was to write very personal songs because I never actually do that. And that backfired. There's a reason why I don't do it. It's because I'm really bad at it.
Okay.
So ideally, after this masters, I will retire from actual songwriting and go more into the composition side of things. Hopefully, start composing for podcast intros. That's a plug. Podcast intros again. Doing like intros for TV shows. That'd be awesome. Maybe composing for video games. That'd be amazing as well. So more on the less human interaction, less lyrical side of things. Ideally.
Focus on the chords, focus on the melodies, focus on the music.
Absolutely, yes. Because that's where I kind of geek out. Harmonies, things like that. Jazz theory. Oh yes.
It sounds like we are the exact opposite. Like if we touch, we just explode in a bunch of light.
we could write together. I'll just make the music. You just bring the lyrics, and then we're done. That's brilliant.
All my songs use the same chords, but with different capos. It's a great trick. Highly recommend them.
Hey, if something happens out of the two of you, I get a cut, okay? You all witnessed the birth of this live on the podcast. So I'm in this now. And George, thank you both very much for your time. It's been a lovely meal as well. And here's to an awesome open mic tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
And that was that. Thank you very much to George and Ant for your time. We really shared some laughs there. Again, I didn't know how the conversation would go, and I was particularly worried about the audio for this one because it was a bit of a noisy restaurant, but I think it turned out rather well. Thank you both. And regarding us somewhat lamenting and sharing in the woes we've experienced in hosting, we all really enjoy hosting, and we all do put on our best at every night we do. It's just that you get the odd occasion where things don't quite go to plan. So this was just people talking shop about the best and worst that we sometimes encounter at the open mics, but we are all very passionate about the hosting that we do. It's not every night that Ant forgets names. I have definitely forgotten names. One of my favorite intros I ever did was when I was doing my usual yelling and hyping the person up, and then in the middle of that I realized I had completely blanked on the person's name. So I said, and now I'll give it out, ladies and gentlemen, for, I'm really sorry, I can't remember your name. What is it again? In front of everyone. But then I made a joke out of it. So, sometimes those things happen. But I appreciate Ant and George. It's a testament to how comfortable we feel with each other that we can, trade war stories about some of the not so great nights we've had and open mic nights. But thank you all very much for the chat. And I did manage to catch George performing. I didn't perform because I had to head back to Caffrey Studios to work with Sydney a little bit. But it was a really fun night, and I look forward to the next one. I will be hosting tomorrow night in Camden at Littleton Arms. Yes, I will be working on my birthday. It's something of a tradition, although typically I wouldn't tell people that my birthday is coming up. But I'm trying to break certain cycles in my behavior, much like today where I haven't really replied to anyone. Another thing I've really been considering is whether I should delete everything I've done on social media and start from scratch. And I think that's something I will do tomorrow, just to try and force myself to get back into it. If I just erase the chalkboard and start anew, maybe then I can build a healthier routine with social media and take this whole thing somewhere new. But, sorry for putting this episode up a bit late. Thanks again to George and Ant. Thanks again to Tim. My show is Tuesday, 30th of July. And if you like what you've heard, feel free to reach out to me, saddestnightout@gmail.com. Otherwise, thank you for listening, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.